There's been a lot of buzz surrounding the Six Surprise lately. It's the flagship secondary weapon for the Demolisher, and today I'm going to delve a little deeper into the weapon itself and see if it's as surprising as it claims to be. And while we're at it, let's talk about balancing through methods other than just damage reduction. But first, let's take a look at the subject of today's discussion. Grenade launchers aren't exactly new to Blitz Brigade. We've seen them before with the Rancor, the Bison B-45, and even, to an extent, the Pigeon launcher. But none have brought about the same controversy as the Six Surprise. The weapon will rid your pockets of that 14,000 gold you've been carrying around, and it'll cost you 40 diamonds on top of that if you want the shiny version that comes with a couple extra bonuses. After upgrading, the Six Surprise will be doling out 308 damage at 96 rounds per minute. It boasts a 10% critical chance and an effective range of 110 meters. And rather than deploying timed grenades like some of the others touched on before, this one fires proximity mines. You can have 6 mines, 1 clip's worth, active at once, and they do stay for a while after you die. When an enemy comes close, the mines will detonate and emit one of the most annoying sounds you'll ever hear. Which leads me into my first point, balancing through sensory cues. Many games will allow the player time to respond to an assault by doing something to stimulate a response. For instance, in Wayward Souls, the enemies will glow and change position. In Deep Dungeons of Doom, the enemies will start an exaggerated attack animation. The Six Surprise gives off 3 different cues to allow for a response. First, it's not a bullet, so it can be seen on the ground with a flashing red light. Next, to anyone who happens to be close enough to it, gives off that terrible beeping noise. And finally, if you want to get really close to it, each mine has a health bar that appears when aimed at. Of course, the only time players get to notice these stimuli is when their opponent, well, misses. At first I thought that there would be an arc on the weapon since it looks like a grenade launcher. In reality, it fires straight, much like a bullet. But because of the slow fire rate and the fact that most people strafe when fired at, it's going to be rare for one of the mines to hit directly. Oh, and when one of the mines goes off, an arrow points out the location of your attacker. While I was recording for this episode, there was a long period where I couldn't hear any in-game audio. During that time, I was more susceptible to the Six Surprise. When you've been so deprived of one or more of your senses that the gun really loses its balance. Suddenly I missed the beeping that I had come to hate. And really quickly, I'd like to look at my personal favorite secondary weapon, the Death's Hand. The Death's Hand does 421 damage at a rate of fire of 168. It has a 13% critical chance and a range of 125 meters. Now, every single one of those stats is better than the Six Surprise. Not only is the Six Surprise weaker in all regards, it calls out its presence and you can see it coming. But it would be ignorant to say that. What's really going on here is that the meta is forcing out bullet damage to make room for explosive area of effect damage, more room for error, and bigger damage over a bigger area, whereas bullets are precise. But what do you guys think? Do you think the Six Surprise needs to take a trip back to the drawing board, or is it fine the way it is? Let me know and keep this discussion going in the comments section. And I'd like to take this time to thank you guys for the support on the last video. I'm really happy about all the love you guys have been showing, and I can't wait to keep this series going. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and have an awesome day. And remember to check the gloves and listen for the beeping.